voices shouting through the night. Static hum that shakes the ground. Riff Nation rising loud, profound. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Steel strings, scream the truth we bring. Echoed chaos, hearts that sting. Electric veins that feed the roar. Harder, faster, crave for more. Dust and sparks ignite the air. Shattered silence, do we dare? Tidal force, relentless stream. We're the edge, we're the dream. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain. We're the anthem in your veins. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain. We're the anthem in your veins.
The engine is starting up.
For launch, GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop,
Go.
GNC, go. Max,
Go.
Eagle, go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Riff Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. We are streaming live on the Rift Nation Network tonight, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and another true crime Wednesday evening for us. But tonight I added a couple of special charts for us because not only do we cover the missing, mysteries, cold cases, true crime mainly, but when we do have events occur, we like to take a look at their particular natal charts, famous natal charts. And unfortunately, we have, as every eclipse season, which we had an eclipse on the 12th, we have one in 2 days, lunar eclipse, we lose people. Normally, it's famous people. It why it happens. No astrologer. No, we don't know why it happens, but we do lose people. And as many times that we look at crime charts, which is every Wednesday at 8 p.m., and if we have the natal information of the person that, was either unalived or, was involved in a crime, we know that the lunar nodes, which are the north node is your destiny, soul contract, south node is your karma, past lives. We know that. We know they're triggered. We look at it every week, not it without fail. And today I looked at Dolly Parton's chart. Now, all of us know this is America's queen. I mean, the world's queen. A woman that came from the hollers of Tennessee that just dedicated her life to just being a shining star, which is what she was. She never forgot her roots. I mean, I've always admired her, and I don't like country music, but she was a heck of an actress too. So I looked at Dolly Parton's chart, and then we also had the upsetting new, not upsetting, but it was an upset. Let's say it was a shocking to me, an upset. We look at the royal family's charts as well. Prince Harry moved back to the UK. So we're going to take a look at his chart and see what is happening up in the stars for him too. So it's interesting. And we also have a true crime case. So let's get into it. We got a lot of charts to look at tonight. It's a packed show tonight. And I hope, as an astrologer, eclipses are they're the busiest times that astrologers are, believe it or not. And from the 12th, even now, till now, which I thought about it, 14 days. It's been nonstop. I have never actually in my astrological, I guess you'd call it a career, maybe studies, what I love to do, my passion. I have never seen an eclipse impact so many people as the eclipse did on the 12th. So I'm kind of holding my breath for the one on the 28th, but there's a lot of, it's the opposite of what was happening at the 12th. The 12th was a solar eclipse on what we call the south node or karma, past lives. That's a loss, usually. This one is on the north node, and it's a lunar eclipse. It illuminates. So the only thing, the main player on the last one was Venus, which was a lot of relationship issues, right? So this one, guess who our player is on this one? Uranus. So this is what I want to tell you. If please do this for me, because I know astrologers, I already know this. I don't have to say it. Or literally, this is a time when you almost hold your collective breath, because Uranus, which is the planet of the unpredictable, unexpected, can be chaos, can go by with nothing. I've seen really big Uranus, transits, nothing happens. But, and that's a long but. Usually it's earthquakes. And sure enough, today we had or yesterday, we had the earthquake in Nepal with absolute massive damage and flooding. It's just been horrendous. They had such a horrific, as a cause of the earthquake, this flooding in a valley. It was just terrible. If you are in an earthquake zone, I know I'm in a tornado alley, put your alarm on your phone. Make sure your alarm is on if you are in an earthquake zone. And I don't say that lightly. And I hate fear, and I'm not spreading fear. I'm just saying be aware. So let's check out the chat. That's enough of me rambling for the night. God, earthquakes. I couldn't handle an earthquake. I've only been in 2 in my entire life. Hello, Miss Tammy. How are you? I hope everybody's doing well on this lovely Wednesday evening. You know what? I'm doing very well. I'm doing great. But, I feel for the people that these eclipses really jolted into people's lives. And that's what an eclipse can do. It's one day it's here, and one day you look around and go, what has happened? Because it's powerful. It's that powerful. So I'm doing well. I just have so much empathy for the people that these darn things affect, and I hate to see it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can't wait for it to be over with. Although they have lingering energy of 6 months, but I looked at September, I looked at October, and we have gone nonstop with transits and happenings, unprecedented astrology in 2026. After this eclipse, we have one thing to navigate at the end of September. That's it. So September is just going to feel like, what's going on? Kind of almost back to normal, whatever the new normal is. What's the new normal? Hello, Miss Lisa. How are you? How's everybody? How are you all doing tonight? How's things going in your neck of the woods? Hello, Miss Mish. How are you? How's it going? Welcome, hun. We love our friends. Mish, my mentor, she's like not even a mentor. She's like one of my idols, who I studied forensic astrology under, is Kirsty McIntosh from Australia. She's the world-renowned forensic astrologer. She wrote the book. She has given us and given the true crime and the just astrology just so much. It's phenomenal what she has done. She's our Australian love. And it's hard to talk to her, Mish, because when it's morning here, it's the middle of the night there. So we laugh about that. Hello, Miss Lois. How's the eclipse treating you, Miss Lois? I know. That's another one. I saw that. Crystal texted me today and said Tim Curry passed away. And I said, well, that's 3. So, my grandma used to say, the old Irish. My grandma was from the mountains, the mountains over in West Virginia, and the old Irish wives' tales. Or is it wives' tales? Wives' tales. She used to say, people die in 3s. And sure enough, they seem to. So let's hope. We had Hayden, and then we had Dolly, and now Tim Curry. I have to look at his chart too. I didn't really see his chart, but I'll look his up. Hello, KL. How are you? And that's Miss Carrie Lynn and don't forget to tune in to her show, Spirit Switchboard, every Friday evening at 6 p.m. ET time, Eastern time. Carrie Lynn is just, here we go again. She's another one that's really kind of writing the book and knocking down barriers, and does all of her beautiful theaters, and goes around and gives people readings, and is probably one of the best mediums I know in North America, if not, I hate to say the world, but because I don't really know about other mediums in the world, but she's the real deal. And she does a lot of shows and helps a lot of people. So welcome, hon. I'm glad I'm glad you stopped in. I was in that one 15 years ago in Virginia. The earthquake, they're scary. I think earthquakes are very, very scary. I was pregnant with Matt when one hit here, and my table was shaking. And I'll never forget it because I was talking to my grandma on the phone, and my father, check this out, my father, we're talking about my father passing away. One, I was pregnant with Elizabeth, and the other one, my dad had just passed away. And I was talking to my grandma, and I thought it was something talking. I thought it was my dad, and I thought, why in the hell is my dad shaking my table? And it was an earthquake. Whoops. I thought, Lord, is it okay to move on eclipse day? Is it okay to move on the day of the eclipse? Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as you're not moving onto a fault line. Not a fault. Not a fault. I've had some cases. I did a case there, Mish, with a young boy. I forget what it was, the name, what it was called. And he went missing off of this beautiful area. And I did the mapping of it around a cliff. And it was like a very famous area up by the beach. Well, everywhere's a beach in Australia, but I don't know if they ever found him. I did that mapping in the forensic astrology in Australia. It's going. Yeah, it's wait, I've got her book right here. Wait a minute. Let me show it to you. I don't go anywhere. Oh, it's backwards. Here she is. There she is. That's Kirsty. I don't know if it'll tell us where she's from in Australia. It doesn't even say she's Australian, but she is. Oh, she lives in Australia. There you go. They did say that. She's a doll. She's a very good. She's the best. She's the best forensic astrologer. It's Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Yeah. So when it's night there, it's morning there. I would love to go to Australia. I feel it. I know. I hear you. You know, I don't feel this one as bad as I did the 12th, I think. I'm not sure. Wives' tales. Thank you. I always say wise tales, but they are wise. I wonder why it was wives' tales. Wise tales. Mish says hi, KL. Aw. Yes, in this time. Sure, absolutely. It would be okay to move. Be mindful, though, that you've got Uranus squaring the eclipse on both sides, right? Expect the unexpected. Or if nothing happens, it's perfect. You know, I mean, expect the unexpected, like, oh, we're supposed to go at 10 and something. We didn't get out till 11. You never know with Uranus. I'll tell you a really quick story because it's so funny. We have the Kentucky Derby here, right? In Kentucky, very famous. And everywhere you go, people go to bars. They have the hats. There's always a Derby party here, right? Anywhere you look. And people drink mint juleps and all this fun stuff. So the whole day, one of my besties was like, we were talking the entire day. And of course, the more Blue Moon beers I drank, the more I was going, you know, Uranus is in this. Oh my God, expect the unexpected. Something weird's going to happen. This is going to be the weirdest Derby ever. We need to bet the long shots, blah, 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 right? I didn't shut up about it. So the guy that was, doing the betting stuff was sitting across from us. We could have bet on any horse. We didn't do it. Right? Sure enough, that race, the favorite won. I thought, oh, well, thank you, Uranus. Nothing happened. Well, that's the race. The favorite that won got disqualified, and behind him came this big long shot. So the guy sitting across from us said, you would have won $40,000. And I'm like, oh, you know what? My friend never let me live that down. She blamed it on me. We laugh. I'm not sure. So, yeah, it was a young boy. I'll have to look that one up. I sent everything I had to the family over there. And they were looking for his backpack. Gosh, I'll have to look that up. I'll look that up. Hello, Miss Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Was cooking dinner. Oh, I'm going looking this weekend. Well, that's wonderful. You might, expect the unexpected with Uranus. If it's meant to be, it's going to be there, my friend. So I would ride that wave. I would ride that. It's on the North Node. Whenever we have a North Node eclipse, you guys, it's usually more fortunate than the others. But we've got Uranus squaring both sides. Crazy. Thanks, Keith. Here we go. I got so much to show y'all. Let's get started. Let me see, get this done. That we've got Dolly Parton, Prince Harry, and we've got a case down in, here we go, Texas, Arlington, Texas. And this case, there was just an arrest made a couple weeks ago. Irasema Chavez, 32 years old. And she was unalived in Arlington, Texas. An arrest was just made. The crime was 2012. Interesting. It's an interesting case. What's even more interesting is the alleged person that did this was bonded out. So I'll tell you that story. So let's get started. I want to show you guys this chart. This is Dolly Parton's chart, right? So we know now that Dolly went in the hospital on Friday, surrounded by her loved ones and family, and apparently had cancer, right? So she was in the hospital for 4 days. So I thought, well, let's look at this chart. You can see exactly, I could go into her chart. You can see where she grew up poor, had what we call a T-square in the chart, actually turned that around, learned the lesson, and became multimillionaire, correct? With that T-square. And famous people and athletes, professional athletes, usually are in the 5th house, right? 5th, 10th. Famous people are 10th, 5th. Hollywood is ruled by the 5th house. Actors, actresses, entertainment industry is the 5th house. 10th house would be fame. So she had Uranus on her midheaven. She was blah, blah, blah. But what I wanted to look at was the lunar nodes. So look at the pink lines, y'all. Uranus was at her midheaven, which we just talked about Uranus, the green one at the top. Midheaven is the public view. So she would be in the spotlight, public view, right? What's funny about this is, she was not unalived. She was 80 years old. She'd had a beautiful life, 4 days in the hospital. And it's such a loss to everybody. It's sad. But yet to celebrate, what a wonderful woman, what an icon, what a life. This chart, her lunar nodes were indeed, look at the pink, lunar nodes were the transit lunar nodes, which are in Aquarius and Leo, right? We're trining, which is one of the most favorable aspects in astrology, which is 120 degrees away. And the other lunar node was sextiling her natal lunar nodes. So in other words, it was, I think we're going to find out how peaceful and unbelievably beautiful her transition was. That I'm gathering that from that because I've never researched it, but we talk about it every week. I think I'm going to start either putting it in a book or something, because keeping track of this, because we see it every week. The lunar nodes are triggered here, big time. Big time. They're both at 29 degrees. So her natal lunar node is 29, but she's got the north node is trining her natal node, and the transiting Leo south node is sextiling her natal node. Then on the other side, I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely. And on the other side, Aquarius north node is trining her natal south node, or my bad, sextiling, and Leo is trining it on the other side. So she's got 2 trines, 2 sextiles on the day of her transition or death. That tells me, and I've not done the research, I'm not a scientist or nothing, but just from seeing these every week, very peaceful. So God bless her soul. I'm glad she's with her beloved husband and her family, and what an icon, right? Look at that. She's got check this out. She's got Jupiter in her second house, which is money, abundance, ruled by Libra. That's all the sparkly, gaudy stuff she loved too. You will never find a Libra that doesn't like sparkly stuff and rhinestones. They're not here. What an icon, right? Isn't that great? I mean, it's sad. We're all sad about it because I think everybody loved her, but I think we should celebrate her life. What a queen. I mean, she's the closest thing we've got to a queen, right? Okay, I thought that was interesting, you guys. Hi, Miss Linda. How are you? Good to see you, hon. I hope things are going well. Miss Linda snuck in on us. Miss Linda said, hi, everyone. Okay, y'all. Do you remember this case, Texas, our Texas people, Miss Tammy, Miss Kathy, in Arlington, Texas? That's where we're going, you guys. Arlington, Texas. Here we go. So it's, I guess, in between Dallas and Fort Worth, right? Okay, here we go. Here she is. Look how beautiful this young woman is. Look at her. Just absolute stunning. Irasema Chavez, 32 years old. She was single, living alone in her apartment in Arlington, Texas. Good girl. So on January 19th of 2012, we got a timeline. And I think I'm going to start doing these timelines like this for you guys. Easier to read, easier to keep up with. And we kind of get to just really kind of like the facts of the case. So at 9:30 p.m., she called her sister to come over for a sleepover. Sis declined and invited Irasema over, and she declined. So they, can you imagine her sister thinking, why didn't I just stay at the sleepover? It's just, if hindsight, right? So at 11:29 p.m., we've got a knock on her front door, and the front door opened after a minute. So we know that she was home and she knew the perp, right? She had a camera installed outside of her apartment because she had had a tire slashed. So she installed cameras. So we've got camera footage, which I'm going to show you after we go through this timeline. At 11:40 p.m., the security cameras were disconnected from the receiver inside of her apartment. So we saw the perp go in. We didn't see the perp leave. So, okay, we know it's somebody she knows, somebody that knew that the cameras were up there too. So on January 20th, the following morning, she was found by her niece, her 17-year-old niece. She had been stabbed over 100 times. 100 times. That's personal. Now, LE, law enforcement, found red footprints leading to her bedroom and then to the front door. So they had a footprint. While they were doing, check this out for law enforcement, while they were doing the investigation of the crime scene, they found a quarter-size blood droplet by the TV stand. Guess what? The TV was gone. So somebody had taken the TV. Nobody knows why the TV was taken. Was this over money? What or was this the perp trying to make it look like it was a robbery? I don't know, right? So on August the 12th, they identified the perp as a man, okay? DNA identified the perp as a Hispanic female, right? Can you believe that? DNA said, no, this is not a man, this is a female. Here is the grainy picture. Now, remember, this is 2012, right? This is 2012. This is the grainy picture. You cannot tell if it's a male or a female. Now, on today's Ring cameras, you could tell. But here's the picture. They stood there for a minute, and they were let in, correct? So law enforcement thought this was a male. Perhaps, though, guess what? It was a female. So in 2018, Parabon did what is called genealogy and did a snapshot of the DNA that they had gotten from the blood drop, right? In 2018. And I'm going to show you that picture as well. Genealogy, you know how we've gone through this before, where they do the family tree and go through the, like the ancestry.com, etc., and they try to match up the DNA stuff. Genealogy identified a relative to the unknown female. Now, this is extensive for law enforcement to go through. They have to go through a lot to figure this out. In 2026, they had a significant lead, but needed to develop further evidence. This happened in 2012. An arrest occurred following surveillance of the alleged perp that they thought it might be at a restaurant. And after she left, they collected a fork. And guess what? The DNA on the fork matched the blood droplet. Can you believe that? So here's a picture of, now they did this with Faith Hedgepath, who was the RNC, was it RNC? I don't know, down at Chapel Hill College, Faith Hedgepath. They did this for her perp on the snapshot. It's called phenotype. This is what the AI or computer comes up with according to the DNA. This is what the snapshot looks like, the phenotype. They don't know who it is, but this is what the computer is telling them that the perp looks like. Okay? So guess what we've got? We've got an arrest that happened in July, and her name was Maya Velasquez. Wait till you see Maya's picture compared to she was a 40-year-old realtor. Myra Velasquez was a friend. She was a good friend of Irasema and lived close to her and been over to her apartment several times. Now, her attorney has come out and is claiming her innocence because they stated her blood could have been there at any given time. She was always over at the apartment. They were friends. And she had no past record. She was released. She was charged with She was charged with capital M, homicide, murder, and was released in July. Just a couple weeks ago, she was released under a $450,000 bond. So she's out in Arlington, Fort Worth, Dallas area. But she's on a monitor. So they're keeping an eye out for her. But still, look at that, y'all. Look at how that phenotype report, just from her DNA, that was the blood spatter, alleged, that was it hers? Did she commit the crime? We don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what other evidence they have. And that'll be a trial to watch. So we've got that picture to match. Look at that match. Is that crazy? Look at that, how that DNA matched exactly to what she looks like. Here she is, very successful realtor. She's a beautiful young girl too. Okay, here's her mugshot. Now, when she was leaving the courthouse or the jail, she was in tears, right? She was in tears. So we're just going to have to see what comes of this, you guys, because of the fact, we don't know. The defense is saying, nope, she didn't do it. And the police we don't really know a lot of what is on, we know what's on the affidavit for her arrest, but we really don't know all the evidence. This is going to be a trial to keep up with. I'm going to watch this trial when it comes up. So let's take a look at the astrology chart, you guys, because this is going to give us some clues. Here we go, make it bigger. So we know that the camera was turned off at 10:40, 46, 49 p.m., whatever time the cameras were turned off. So Irasema is Libra. She's in the pink. She is the victim. So her ruler, the sign is Libra, and that's ruled by Venus. So Venus is showing up in the 6th house. What does that mean? There she is in the 6th house. She was in danger in her daily life. She was in danger of her daily life. Right? Saturn in the 1st house with her, where she is represented, she had difficulty escaping. We know that. Difficulty escaping. So we look in the moon is the co-ruler. Always, moon is always the co-ruler of the victim. It's in the 3rd house. That's neighborhood. Neighbor. Okay? We've got the moon in there. It says because remember, the 3rd house is communications, right? Last communications are very important. Listen to this, because the moon also represents females. This is right out of Kirsty's book, right? It could point to a female neighbor. Let me say that again. This is right out of her book. I looked these up. Could point to a female neighbor. Emotional calls, conversations were likely very emotional. Domestic incident in an apartment. Domestic incident in an apartment, right? Because Capricorn is the ruler of the fourth house. That's her home. Capricorn in the fourth is an apartment. She's at her home. Pluto is, that's what happened in the home. So we see it, right? It's crazy, isn't it? Mercury is in the fourth house. The suspect lives nearby. Alleged suspect lives nearby. The sun in there. The sun will burn through all the secrets eventually. The sun in the fourth house, which is the home, will burn through secrets eventually. Capricorn in the fourth is an apartment. Aggression. Okay, going around the chart, we've got Neptune in the fifth. That would be either the camera. Neptune can represent, the fifth house is joy, fun, things that we enjoy doing. If they went to a club, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be the camera. It could be catching, something on a camera. We don't know. Now, let's look at the Oh, okay, sixth house. Look at this, you guys. We have another indication. The sixth house, Venus is in there. The sixth house, pink, that's the victim, right? It could suggest an unhealthy romantic obsession that crept into her daily life. The perp may have been helpful or cared for the victim or requested help from the victim at one time. Now, in the affidavit, and I just read this tonight or earlier today, the affidavit shows that the alleged perp, her husband, was extremely jealous of the relationship the two girls had, right? This thing is crazy because this is one of her dear friends. So I got to see what the defense has got. Because I look at it this way. If you go over to somebody's apartment all the time, there is a real possibility that they were moving the TV. Something happened and something could have occurred where she did leave blood on the nightstand or the TV table. We don't know. We just don't know. So this is going to be a good trial to watch. So, I'm curious to see what evidence, if any more, that they do have. We're going to have to wait and see because it's very possible. You could have been doing your nails. You could have been anything to get blood spatters. Is somebody a diabetic and they were, testing their blood for blood sugar? You get droplets everywhere. We're going to have to wait for this evidence, right? Okay, the perp is in the orange. She, because we know that the DNA said female, Aries. So the perp is in the 12th house because Mars is the ruler of Aries. What does Mars in the 12th house mean? The perp is erratic, unstable, strikes without warning, sudden betrayal by someone previously trusted. And now this is, like I said, this is coming right out of Kirsty's book. The 8th house, which is the house of transition or unaliving. The transition may be hidden, a moral religion cover, excess overconfidence of philosophical justification for doing this, over the top motives. And like I said, Mars in the 12th, secret rage, suppressed anger, crime was premeditated and hidden violence. So I thought that this was very interesting. Of everything that was, I looked up, that was in the chart, came out, and we rarely get things pointed to a female, if ever. Then again, I also have trouble thinking that a female would do that 100+ times. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait for the trial and see. I just don't know of a female that would do that 100 times. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see if somebody else came in, or we don't know. But I think that's interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm going to stay on top of this one and watch this trial too. I'm sure the attorneys that are doing podcasting will carry this trial, because it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case, right? So that's that case. Isn't that crazy, you guys? That chart. Oh, here are some more composite profiles and the pictures that they've got on their website. Look at the picture, the real person on the right and the DNA on the left. Look at that. It's crazy. Here's another young lady, phenotype snapshot prediction. She was unknown. Look to the right, solved. Looks just like her. Look at the picture. It's wild what they do, what they are doing with DNA technology. It's absolutely wild. Look at this one. Perp on the right, and there is the snapshot composite. So they are coming up with these things prior to that, and people are getting popped. They're getting popped like crazy, and I'm glad. Keith says it actually takes some force to pull a K out of a body, so there would have to be some strength. And I know, and these are small women. They're small women. It takes a lot of force. And 100 times, Keith, I know. I feel the same way. I'm going to have to wait and see what they've got, what the evidence is. And if all they've got is a quarter of a blood drop, that could be, and she was over there all the time. That could have been anything, right? At any time. That could have happened at any time if over at your friends, especially young girls. They're doing their nails, they're doing makeup, they're doing all kinds of stuff. You just don't know. But the force and the stamina, you are 100% right. Just to do it a couple of times, let alone over 100. It's weird. It's weird. So we're going to have to see. You know what else is weird in that chart is that 9th house Jupiter is people that are very obsessed with, and it could be any religion, it could be any type of a cult, it could be anything. So what's going on with that 9th house with Jupiter? So I'm going to have to watch this one. I agree. Okay, y'all, I know we got another chart. So we've got, has anybody been following the Prince Harry situation? With out of the blue, they announced that they are moving back to Britain, and the 2 children are going to be attending British schools. Going back to Britain, going back to the UK. They flew in today, and all the people were all in an uproar. I look at it this way. If you've got the money, fly private. I would. But the big uproar is that they flew on a private jet. So what? They're moving. They probably had a lot of stuff. They're moving. They're carrying a bunch of stuff with them. They claimed that it cost like thousands of dollars, 5 figures to fly over there on a private jet. I don't know. who cares? I think that's kind of silly. I'd fly a private jet too if I had the money. So there he is, Prince Harry. Let's take a look at what's going on in poor Prince Harry's life, right? Now, we looked at their charts a couple of years ago, I think in a mini session, and went over, and we saw some issues back then, if y'all remember, and we're in the mini session from Astrology the Series. If you want to learn more about astrology, come to my Facebook group, Astrology the Series, and join it because we're always talking astrology. So here is Harry's birth chart, right? He is a Virgo sun. He's a Capricorn rising and a moon in Taurus. Talk about Earth. Jeez. They're all three Earth, right? Lord. All that Earth. Okay. Here's the breakdown on what the eclipse is doing to poor Harry's chart. Look at the pink, right? Look at the second house. First of all, the rumors, so-called rumors, and we don't know if we should believe them or not, but it's kind of fun gossiping. The alleged rumors, I'll say alleged, they're claiming that there are monetary issues occurring right now. I don't think they had their Netflix show or whatever show they had. I don't have Netflix, but that apparently didn't go over too well. Why? Well, Pluto, dear Pluto, in November 2024, moved into, look at the second house, his house of money, right? Pluto is going to, if something isn't right in your life, it's going to tear it down and build it back up. So it's not surprising if there are issues that Pluto's in the second house. Doesn't surprise me. What if you saw somebody and knew that was in their natal chart and hitting them? It would be get your affairs in order. Get your affairs in order. So what else has happened in his chart? The transit north node that I talk about all the time, and it's blue down going into, is just hit that second house. Whoops. We got that going on. Look at his natal chart. Uranus, right? Uranus, all the way at his sixth house, is hitting his natal north node, right? Whoops. So, natal north node. I'm going to read you what's going on. I'll read you that one. The natal north node. Uranus on his north node is an awakening jolt. Unexpected change demands authenticity. Demands awakening jolt. It triggers your path, will take an abrupt turn. If you're not where you're supposed to be on your path, it's going to trigger your path to take an abrupt turn, will change your jobs, daily tasks, your career. It is a cosmos shockwave. Harry is back at the UK. I think he was jolted by Uranus. That's apparent in his sixth house, right? That was the jolt. So the eclipse is hitting his second, right? Yes, second and eighth house, right? What I feel kind of bad for him is, what else was hitting? That Pluto in his second house that's transiting his second house is squaring his natal Pluto. Pluto, the planet of transformation, is nailing his 11th house of social circles, friends, associations. groups, like the charities that they represent. Pluto is wreaking havoc right now in his chart. So is Uranus. Uranus brings in the jolt. The eclipse is hitting his natal Mercury, which will be a very strong mental activation. His mind is going to feel clearer than ever before. So, the decision to move back probably hit like lightning and said, I need to be back on my path. My path is I was born into this family. It's a royal family. I got to get back on this. That's where I belong. And if you take a look at his chart, I'm just guessing that's what happened. But I think he said, I have to get back on my path because that Uranus is such a jolt. It was like, this is your destiny. This is where you're going. So I guess, the universe feels he was way off path. So I would not be surprised if he does get back into the royal family and does engagements and do what they do, work with their charities, etc., etc. Now, what's funny, Uranus also is opposing the 12th house, which is Sagittarius, which is, check this out, long distance travel. A culmination of emotional release that has been hidden will be illuminated. Related, travel may reach a turning point may see some messages and information coming to light. So I think that's a little bit interesting I feel so sorry for this kid right now. I like the royal family, and I feel really sorry for the whole family. I think it's been a real up and down thing for them. And now, Charles is he's very, very ill. And this one got a jolt. There's no other word for this with Pluto, with Uranus sitting on the North Node, Pluto squaring Pluto, and Pluto hitting your second house with the North Node hitting your second house. He's getting a cosmic whipping. That's for sure. It's a wake-up call. So, I think it's kind of funny that he moved abruptly too. So Uranus is like, where did that come from? Where's that been? What is going on here? So I think it's kind of funny that his children are enrolled in the UK schools too. So we'll see. They estimated, I forget what they said, the monthly expenses are to live in their California home. It was outrageous. It was like the electricity, I think it was like $50,000, maybe $50,000 a month. I think I could be wrong. Probably not, but that's his chart. Does anybody have anything they want to talk to me, chat? We got about 3 minutes to talk. What did y'all think about his chart? What do you guys think about it? Oh, look at Carrie Lynn. Look at that chart. Look at that chart. Eclipse season. That's all she's heard me say for the past. That's all you've heard me. Poor Carrie Lynn. I haven't shut up about this for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, friend. What's eclipse season? It's eclipse season. That's all I keep saying. But it's kind of true. It's, eclipse season. So-and-so passed away. Well, they do. I wonder why, though. It's like the cosmic doors open up. Keith, damn. I know, it's crazy. I feel so sorry for him. I kind of want to invite him into the astrology group. I want to send him an invite to come join Astrology, the series, so we can all walk him through this. Because I think when you know, wait a minute, that's really happening in my chart. Yeah, look it up on AI. I'm not making this up. I look up so much. You have to, because there is so much. So I think we should send him. I need to send him an invite to join our group. But he's all earth signs. I think he'd be like, no, I'm not going to believe that. Although his mother had an astrologer. Yeah, I don't think he would. He's all earth. Rising Capricorn, Sun in Virgo, and a Taurus moon. I don't think. I don't know if he would. It's crazy. I feel I feel bad for him with that Pluto. It's like Renee says. What does Renee say? Get out the bubble wrap suit with Pluto. Yeah, if I'll do it. I'll do it. Well, Megan's always talking about astrology. Megan's always talking about astrology. Oh, look, oh, that's funny, Keith, because Keith knows what I say about when we pull up Trump's chart. I'm like, duct tape could not keep his mouth closed. It's impossible. Leo rising, Gemini sun, Sag moon with Regulus on the ascendant. You cannot quiet him. That's why he doesn't sleep, by the way. His mind is going 100 miles an hour because he's a Gemini sun. He is a Leo rising. Look at his hair. And a Sag moon. It's all fire and air. He doesn't sleep. So and people are like, he talks. There's no way you could stop him from talking. He talks in his sleep. And that Regulus on there, he talks in his sleep. You can't shut him up. Good show. Oh, have a great dinner, Kathy. Will y'all the bubble wrap, the Pluto bubble wrap. So have a great eclipse, y'all. Be safe. Be careful. Watch the earth. I'm worried about earthquakes on this one. That's about all I'm worried about. So if we come out of it unscathed with no earthquakes, I will be very, very happy. I'll be very, very happy. This blew me away when I saw these pictures. This literally blows my mind that the technology can do this. Every cold case that's out there that they have DNA on, they need to do this for. You know what, you guys? Every cold case, all the nameless people that they cannot name, they need to do these pictures and get them on social media. I think it's frightfully probably expensive to do this. But, this would be a great investment for our government to pay for this. Because think of all the crimes that could be solved, right? It'd be worth my tax. I wouldn't mind my tax dollars going to this at all. I think it'd be great. It would be money well spent. You enjoy your week too, everybody. Everybody are they? They are working on it. Oh, good. The government. I hope so. That I wouldn't mind that. I saw that tonight. Nepal, just horrific. It is horrific. The massive flood. It's just shattering. It'll get cheaper as we go. Yes, it will. And I think it's wonderful. This technology, and this is AI here too, you guys. And this is what will solve crimes. We need to keep up with the AI. Then we just have an M-class solar flare hitting Friday and Saturday. Really? Great. Will that take down is that big that it could take down your internet, Keith? Can that mess with electronics? They just ID'd one of the victims from 9/11 with that tech. Isn't that beautiful? This technology just gets better and better and better as time goes on. It's amazing. Wouldn't it be great that we get to the point in society where we have no cold cases? We solve these things very quickly with just very little DNA. And maybe that would make perps think twice before they do things. I think all of the cameras that people have on their homes now has stopped a lot of that. I mean, we are at record low unalivings in this country. I just looked at the FBI website and it's record breaking crime solving, which is phenomenal. And I love that. And I think a lot of it's from the cameras and this DNA stuff. No, it may cause more quakes, and we'll definitely feel it, especially with the full moon eclipse hitting tomorrow. Yes, and the tides. And it's in Pisces. There we go. There we go, Keith, with that water in Nepal. So it's in Pisces. Pisces is the ocean. Good night, hon. Have a great couple of days. Have a great lunar eclipse, everybody. Lunar eclipse in Pisces. So be safe. Be careful. We'll get through these eclipses. I'm telling you. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to be over with. So have a great week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, share. Well, you could share it, but hit the like button. And I will see you guys next week with a new case and more information. So I'm keeping up with the Tupac trial, and the Clancy trial should be closing arguments tomorrow. So we'll have those results coming in. So there was another trial today. So there's a lot of trials going on. So have a good one, y'all. Thanks so much. Good night.